Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Now today I'm going to be doing my tier list for start of the stage 1 for Pacific, and let's just get right into it. First start off with Paper Rex up in S tier, and Paper Rex has legit been no changes. I'm not really going to change where Paper Rex is. Jing, he is now officially back on the starting lineup. I think only for this stage, but I might be wrong about that. And his contract was also extended by 2 years at the end of 2026. So all in all, it was actually a massive win for Paper Rex. I'm not really too sure what the military thing is happening over there for Jing. Like, I don't know if he still be I don't know if he still needs to do his military service. Most likely, yes, but I don't know what stuff is really happening behind the scenes over there. But all I know is that Jing is officially back in the starting lineup, and I do feel bad for Melon, yeah, considering that this is also his first year playing for Paper Rex, so I expected some trouble, some hurdles to come over as well for Mania, but it's disappointing considering that I feel like he was improving a bit during Masters Madrid. It's just that they haven't really shown it. So I mean, it's disappointing, but I mean they still have a great player in Mania as a sub, just in case. But I wish that he was soon still in the starting roster just so he can practice, and hopefully he'll be hopefully he'll be back in the starting roster pretty soon. But Paper Rex, they're going to be stay in S tier. DRX, I am a bit skeptical about this team. So they have made two changes. So the first one was Bayan. He has been in the DRX prospects team, basically the team's academy team, for a while, maybe like 2 years maybe. He was also a player as well for all gamers before they fully switch into the full Chinese roster that they have with Delb. While the other one is that Flashback, he is now inactive. Now this is due to personal reasons. We don't know what the reason is, obviously, but it's personal. So whatever it is, I wish Flashback the best of luck, and hopefully he will come back soon. But the 5-man is going to be Stacks, RB, Mako, Fox9, and Bayan. I'm really excited to see how Bayan goes. However, DRX as a whole this year has had a massive drop in performance. I mean, Gen G, they're now maybe the best Korean team. DRX maybe not the second best. And I don't getting rid of RB and Zest was the worst decision DRX have ever made. But to be fair, they needed to make those changes, which completely makes sense. I would rather have changes maybe on the coaching staff, but to be fair as well, I think Chobra said in a Plat Chat episode, what other Korean coaches are there that can actually gather the respect for the players? Who? I mean, Termi, he's kind of like the main one. You can maybe say Bale, but he's now over in China. HSK, he's also a big one. Maybe Solo, but I think Termi Solo, I think they're like the same age and stuff. So I just don't really know. I want to keep DRX up in S tier, but I kind of want to put them in A tier. But I'll probably will put DRX still in S tier, only at the bottom of S tier in my opinion. Next up is T1, and T1 is also going to still be the same as they are right now, which is A tier. They were pretty good. I think they were definitely the third best team in kickoff. I mean, they haven't made any changes. Carpax is the IGL. Slyplay is doing great. Izu has really surprised me, including Execute, and Rossi has been very, very consistent. It's kind of been the Zelsus, I'll be honest, of T1, other than promoting the T1 bundle. He does not do that. But either way, good coaching stuff, good players, very solid. I think they are still in A tier. A team which is definitely going to move down in A division. I mean, I had so much high hopes for this team. They have not made any changes after Madrid. Well, I should say after kickoff in Madrid. I think I also saw as well in the contract database as well that Kalal's contract was originally ended in 2026. Now it is ending in 2024. Does that mean that? I mean, it still baffles me that they actually signed Clout as the head coach. It baffles me still to this day. Like, it's a really good roster. I mean, they have Yoran, they have Huron, two very young players who could definitely cherish well with Laz, Depp, and Sugar Zero. And I was expecting so much of them from how they performed in the Red Bull Homeground tournament. that I thought they were going to continue that. I think having Crow as well as the coach is great. Having Junior as assistant coach is pretty good, but I would rather have Junior as a head coach in my opinion. I just don't like Kalau as a head coach. I think that kind of screws up their language and stuff, like language barrier and the communication stuff. But I think Junior is actually with Kalau in like the coaching room that they're in during the game. But I generally don't know. I mean, Zeta Division, I think that BT, B tier. That it baffles me still what Zeta Division has become in this season. Next up is Rex Rigum Keon, and I'm going to give RRQ the benefit of the doubt because they did verse Genji twice. That was lately the team that won Pacific Kickoff. So, and from how they performed against Genji was very competitive here. See, look, 2-1, very, very close games. Another 2-1, very close game. So they are actually really, really good. Having Jemkin and Estrella in was a great decision. I was really excited about Jemkin in the lineup. A bit surprised about, I'll be honest, about Estrella, considering that he didn't really do a lot in D+, but he's been very, very good. I'm not really too sure how they're going to be using 2GE though. That's the one I'm a bit baffled with, but we'll see what really happens with 2GE. Having the Pharaoh still as the IGL was great. Elmi Moore and Philip Scheiger as well as the other Indonesian talent, also very good. And Ewok's the head coach. He's a very underrated head coach in my opinion. I think they definitely are still B tier. I don't think they're going to move up to A tier. They're just a very solid team. Blade Esports. Where do I start with this team? I mean, I'll say they did make some great changes. I mean, maybe not really changes I was looking for. Okay, Egoist, I can understand why he's gone. But to be fair, I mean, it was his first year in like a proper tier 1 team. He was with X10 Esports pretty sure last year. And they at least needed him to give some time, but he kind of struggled, I'll be honest, in their first 2 matches. But the one I was very confused about is Crazy Guy. I thought Crazy Guy was a very solid IGL, and I still think he is a very solid IGL that deserves to still be in the team. But apparently not Bleed, as they have actually added Zest into the lineup, which is a massive W, and Retla. Now, Retla, for any of you who don't know, think of Retla as like Draken over in Guild Esports, where Draken was joined the team, then left the team, then joined and left, and joined and left, you know, all that other stuff. This is basically like Bleed's Draken is Retla. So take that with how you will. But Lagia, he's still the head coach. I'm not really too sure if Ominous is actually the assistant coach on the analyst. I know Wikipedia says he is the assistant coach. However, here it says analyst. I don't know what to really believe. But I mean, I think they have some like solid players. They just need to just work on it and obviously just play well. I think having Zest in lineup will be very useful. I just don't know about Retla. I think Scary is going to be the IGL, which is going to be interesting because I don't think he's ever been. I think he's always been a second caller, but I don't think he's been the main IGL. I think I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he was the second caller when he was with like Zergia. And like I think like 2022, I believe. So I guess maybe as well, like when he was with Bleed, I was like with Crazy Guy as the IGL. I'm guessing he was the second caller, which would make sense why he's on the IGL. But I'm interested to see what he really cooks up, I'll be honest, for this team. But I probably have to put them in C. I just don't have a lot of faith in them. Are they better than Global? I generally don't know. I mean, they lost against Global here in the elimination match. It was a very close game, though, and they got absolutely obliterated by T1 on Lotus, but Breeze was pretty close, so that's kind of where I expected Bleed to be, where like they were close against T1, but then when they weren't close against T1, I was like, oh boy, they're actually worse than I expected. They probably are C tier, so I'll probably say that. I'm not really too sure because Global's a weird team as well. Next up is Gen G, and Gen G definitely deserves to be an S tier. I mean, they surprised me. They surprised everyone, I'll be honest. Who knew that building a roster around Meteor was the best decision this org has ever made? I mean, Munchkin as the IGL, this is like crazy raccoon munchkin. Texture, he is still amazing. I think with him back now fully on the duelist role was a phenomenal decision because how he was using global was absolutely shocking. So I'm glad that he's now fully on the duelist role. Lakia as well for veteran presence. He's still a very, very good player, very, very consistent. And Charon, he is maybe the most surprising player in this entire year. Like, I think they only, correct me if I'm wrong, but they found like Charon in a ranked game or something. And he has been super consistent and super impactful for this Gen G squad. Absolutely deserves to be in S tier. I mean, they legit won kickoff. What else do you really expect? So, Gen G absolutely deserves to be in S tier. Next up is Team Secret. And Team Secret is also a weird team. I mean, okay, so, let's get this out of the way. They lost against Talon. They won against ZFM. They won against Talon. Then they lost against Genji in the play-ins, and then they won against Zeta, and I don't know what happened there. I think they lost in the next 2 games, I believe, or something. I don't know, because when they lost to Talon, that was just because the entire team was just underperforming massively. And NDG, it wasn't really like the NDG I knew from like Oasis Gaming. Also, Nals? Yeah, Nals Esports, I believe. But now that, you know, this is a better looking Team Secret, they're just very consistent. They're just average, I'll be honest. They're just very consistent, very average. Do I think they are better than RAQ Zeta Division? No. I think they're still in B tier, in my opinion. A very solid team, I'll be honest, for Team Secret. Next up is Talon. And Talon is so strange. So they won against Talon in the opening match. But then they lost against them as well, and they lost against DRX. I think the DRX one was, I mean, it was pretty close on split. Ascend, not really, and as Team Secret, it was relatively close. But, I mean, Governor, he surprised me a lot. Ban was alright. I think Lenny as the IGL was a great decision, so I'm happy that Lenny is now the IGL for this team and not Cruz. Because Cruz did some questionable calls, I'll be honest, when he went Larchie and Talon and Zershi as well for a bit. And Jip Boys, he's been also very consistent, but also very quiet. But my question for this team is that what the hell are they going to use Surf for? Like, are they seriously going to put Surf on the bench? I don't think he deserves to be there, I'll be honest. He rightfully deserves to be on the starting roster. But who is going to be replaced? I mean, because Governor, the thing about him is that Governor, he can pop off, but he needs a lot of resources. That's obviously same with Surf. Both of them are very, very similar players, so I don't really think it's going to change much, but I don't really know if Surf is even going to play, I'll be honest. Like, generally, I have no idea. But Talon, I think they're C tier, in my opinion. I think they might be worse than Bleed Esports, because at least Bleed, they actually made changes. They made actual proper changes. Talon, they did not. So I'm a bit skeptical and a bit worried for Talon if it's going to be like a repeat of last year, but I'm praying it's not at least. Next up is Global Esports. And they have also not made any changes. Like, okay. So, Russ as the AGL was actually pretty good. I quite like Russ as the AGL. Like, he's like one of those fragging IGLs, and he could actually be a very underrated IGL, obviously. Blaze King, he has been popping off. He's maybe, actually, you know, Polvi is definitely their best player, making so much space for the team. And he's been performing very well for the team as well. I'm worried about Lightning Fast. I mean, I just think there are better. If you want to have, like, Indian presence in your team, I think there's way better Indian presence. There's way better Indian talent than Lightning Fast. Yes, Lightning Fast might be maybe a well-known Indian player, other than obviously SK Rossi, but there's definitely Indian players out there that are better than Lightning Fast, in my opinion. Like, I already talked about South Asia as well for Split 1, so you can go check that out as well. And even the grand final match that I did as well, with, who was it, True Rippers versus Grey Fox Esports. So you can have a look at that and we'll see like a bunch of Indian some players that can actually really catch your eye. So if they actually want Indian talent, I don't think Lightning Fast is your guy. I think there's definitely other talent out there in South Asia that can do Lightning Fast's job, but better, in my opinion. But Benkai, this is like a 2022 Benkai. I am so happy that he's been performing really, really well. I'm guessing he is the second caller of the team, while obviously Russ is the main one, which is actually pretty good for both IGLs to kind of just be hybrid and stuff. So it's good that Benkai is still playing very well. I don't know what bars he's doing here, I'll be honest. I don't know what they're going to be using Barzy for, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then Spin as head coach, Big Time as assistant coach, pretty good as well, but I still think Global are still C tier. I don't know if they're better than Bleed though, because Bleed have made changes and they could actually impress. Global hasn't made any changes, but they have some very good players like Blaze King, like Polvi, like Bangtai. Bleed, they're just a bit of an unknown. I probably will put Bleed in front of Global because I think Bleed has a higher chance, or I should say, Bleed have a higher ceiling that they can reach, unlike Global, which I think they have a more shallow ceiling. Like they can easily reach it and kind of just be stuck there. Bleed, I think they could probably reach higher from what I've seen from their roster on paper. And the next one is DFM. DFM are just the most depressing team I've ever talked about. I mean, like, what do I really say positive about this team other than the massive amount of negatives that I have? May is good. I mean, he is their best player in DFM. I was excited when they announced May in the lineup, but they just haven't used him well. I mean, C's, he's just he's just not a good player in my opinion. Anthem, I think he is still the IGL for this team, but he's kind of struggled. Medusa has had some stupid moments. Neff, I think Medusa is also overheated as well, including C's. Neff, he's just been average. It's just been May who's just been creating all the space, all the plays for DFM to work around. And like, it's cool they have Aztel as a head coach. That's a great sign. It's cool I think you still have Melphobia as a coach, Jordan Lyons as a coach, but I just, this team is just so weird. But okay, if you ask me the question that if this year's DFM's roster is better than last year's DFM's roster, I would say yes. I think they have improved. I just need to see, I just need to see more of it. I mean, I think Anthem is indeed the IGL. I need to see new ideas from this team. I need to see them innovate, because all they've done is that they kind of just gained flashbacks to last year's DFM roster, where they just struggled and they didn't really have good ideas, and they just let like one player just making playmakes. That's kind of what they're doing here as well with May. Last year it was Soldem, now it's May. Like, seriously? Suggest as well was also another player as well from last year that made a bunch of plays, but it's mainly but this year it is May. Like, May is the playmaker. So like DRX, it was relatively close. Team Secret, it was pretty close. They have improved there, but they need to work together. They need all the players to be playmakers. They need to capitalize on the opponent's mistakes, because I don't see anything from this team, and I think they are still D tier. I don't think they are the worst team of partnership that belongs to a certain Chinese team, AG, but they could maybe, you know, God, if that ever happens, DFM versus All Gamers, oh, I'm gonna watch that and I'm gonna ridicule both teams, I swear to God. But that is my tier list, so comment down below as well on where you would rank these teams as well, and if you think I am incredibly wrong or actually relatively correct. So now, like, you know, guys, to like, comment, and subscribe. It will really help me, especially on this channel. Obviously, I'll be doing America's pretty soon, and America's is also very weird and interesting. So that's really about it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you guys next time in the next one. Goodbye.